Royal Wingman drone. Drones have been around for a while now, and while most of them usually carry out solo stealth runs, this one's a bit different. As the nickname suggests, this Boeing MQ-28 Ghostbat is a one-of-a-kind drone that uses AI to be the quote-unquote wingman to another aircraft. Now, these wingman missions can vary a lot between combat, electronic warfare, and surveillance. For instance, one of its main roles is to support a manned Royal Australian Air Force plane, like an F-35A or a E-7A to carry out defense and surveillance missions. And while the bigger aircraft is doing its thing, it'll also be controlling this little guy to scout and get a lay of the land. Or if there's an attack, then this loyal wingman UAV can also absorb enemy fire. Plus, if you need to switch it over another mission, then all you've got to do is swap the nose, which carries most of its equipment and armaments. So even if you get yourself in trouble in the skies, the Ghostbat's got your back. Number 9. Hypersonic Glide Vehicle. Ever since the dawn of the Cold War back in the 80s, countries have started to invest a lot more in ballistic missiles. After all, it's pretty convenient to attack someone remotely without risking stuff. But while most traditional missiles usually fly at super high altitudes to cover big distances, the Avangard HVG stays low and fast. It's also worth mentioning that since this is a glide vehicle, it doesn't actually have any independent propulsion system. Instead, its glider lets it perform sharp, high-speed horizontal and vertical evasive maneuvers in flight. And apparently, that means that it can pretty much dodge any missile defense system in the world. Also, in terms of raw power, this modern weapon system ain't no slouch either, as it carries its 2,000 kilos of mass at speeds way beyond Mach 20, giving it the equivalent of 17.5 tons of TNT and kinetic energy. Number 8. Angstadt Arms MDP-9 Roller Delayed AR-9. You've probably seen some dope SMGs like the MP5 in games and movies, but MDP-9 is truly revolutionary. According to Angstadt, this is the perfect subgun for the modern age, as it's both compact and powerful. This means that it's super concealable and is small enough to carry in a backpack or a sling. Plus, its special roller delayed action means that it's extremely lightweight too, weighing less than 4 pounds. On top of that, it's also fully compatible with AR-15 platform, giving it that extra oomph. Oh, and yes, it still runs on Glock 9mm magazines, making it really easy to get used to. This smart gun is also very versatile when it comes to attachments, allowing you to use the brace or stock of your liking, or if you want to mount a sight on top, then that's possible too. Number 7. IWI TAVR TS12. When it comes to shotguns, it seems like IWI has cracked the code with TAVR TS12. Essentially, it's a bullpup shotgun that's based on the company's assault rifle, which is an outrageous concept in and of itself. However, things get even crazier when you realize that it's also semi-automatic with a really fast rate of fire. Other than that, this bad boy comes with 3 magazine tubes, with each containing 5 shells. So in total, you're looking at a maximum of 16 shots in one go. And to rotate the tubes, all you've got to do is press the nifty little button on the pistol grip. Oh, and since it's got a Picatinny rail, you can mount receptacles on both sides. And thanks to this unorthodox approach, the TS12 has turned into one of the most popular weapons over the past couple of years. In fact, it was the best-selling semi-auto shotgun on GunBroker in 2020. Number 6. Smart Scope. Alright, you've seen ACOG scopes that can zoom in and out, seek the enemy's thermal signature, and even detect movement through walls. But what you haven't seen yet is a smart scope. Dubbed as guaranteed hit scopes, these have been developed to replace all kinds of sights for one singular solution. So basically, this next generation system incorporates night vision, magnification, target detection, and tracking, all in a single compact package. What that means on the battle targets, and put a red box around them. Oh, and the scope even makes the shooting easier, as depressing and then holding the trigger down kickstarts the auto mode. And in this mode, the weapon will fire when the barrel is properly aligned with the target. Of course, if that's not your cup of tea, then it can be disabled as well. Number 5. LA-9P. Staying on the topic of futuristic attachments, the Glare LA-9P is more of a modern defensive system. Called an ocular interruption system, this guy's job is to send long-distance hail and warning, especially during maritime security. Essentially, it shoots out a powerful green laser that can be seen for 4 kilometers at night, and 1.5 kilometers during daytime. The laser automatically turns off if an unintended observer gets too close range with it, and once the bystander gets out of the way again, then the LA-9P pops right back up again. Also, if you're looking for some offensive glaring to hinder an approaching enemy, in fact, glare lasers have already saved tons of lives on the battlefield. Number 4. Steyr AUG A3M1. The AUG is one of the most iconic guns of all time, as it's been around since the 70s. Plus, it's also one of the first bullpup assault rifles ever made, with its weird gun design and that famous extended rail. And now, Steyr's finally decided to switch things up and give a modern touch to the AUG by introducing an M1 variant to the markets. What's so different about this one though? Well, for starters, the AUG A3M1 comes with a more traditional scope tube with exceptionally bright and clear optical elements. However, it modernizes them with the addition of 3 Picatinny rail sections, meaning that you can attach holographic sights now as well. Plus, it's still got the same bullpup design that's shorter than an M4 while having a similar barrel. And since it has a short stroke gas piston operation, it runs extra clean too. Oh, and obviously, all the benefits of disassembly and conversion are also here, with a fresh new finish and grips. Number 3. Taser X-Rep. The X-Rep is a pretty weird weapon that combines a taser with a shotgun in what is essentially a tiny package. You see, traditional tasers only have a range of about 50 feet, so if a suspect is farther away, you'd have to use a gun, which obviously makes things more deadly. X-Rep, which stands for Extended Range Electronic Projectile, completely changes that by increasing a taser's range to 100 feet. And to achieve this distance, it uses a shotgun slug in action, which paralyzes the target's muscles as soon as it hits them. The X-Rep uses no more than 500 volts. This is because its slug penetrates the skin and uses a waveform that's enough to compensate for the loss of power. Also, thanks to its tiny size and only 25 grams of weight. Oh, and if you want something more extreme, the developers are also trying to make a grenade version that can go up to 200 feet. Number 2. Tracking Points. Tracking Point, as the name suggests, is a guided modern weapon system that's generally mounted on top of sniper rifles. Much like the Smart Scope that we saw earlier, it's also got similar tracking abilities, but with an even greater focus on long-distance precision. For instance, the core engine tracks the target, calculates range and the ballistic solution automatically. Plus, the scope can also adjust the zero distance by itself with the reference points. And of course, you've still got the automatic firing to ensure a guaranteed hit. The star of the show, however, is the heads-up display that has a ton of information displayed on it, including wind, range, compass, and much more. Also, if you want to record your hunting adventures, then the scope's got a built-in camera too. Number 1. Barrett M82A2. The Barrett M82 sniper rifle has been around for a while now, but to this day, it continues to be one of the most effective options on the battlefield. With the A2 variant though, the company has elevated its game by bringing a bullpup config to the sniper rifle. Now, what this means is that you no longer have to prone down with a massive stand to fire this. Instead, this bad boy is fully shoulder fireable. To make sure that it's stable though, Barrett added a reverse angled foregrip at the front of the receiver. Interestingly enough, this is one of the